welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about pregnancy. So much to talk about, but I'm just gonna keep it quite short and just talk about pretty much my experiences. And I've just been thinking so much about it lately, obviously being pregnant, but I've had, in this 5 months that I've been pregnant, I've got other friends who are pregnant, I've got family members who are pregnant, I've had friends have miscarriages, I've had a few complications in this pregnancy, like everything is good, but there's been a few things that have been a bit strange, so they've been looked into. And yeah, I've just been thinking that pregnancy is just such a crazy ride. I was talking to my mum about it yesterday, who's had 5 babies, and even when things go really good, it's scary. Like, I was so naive with Alexis's pregnancy. Like, when I got pregnant, I didn't once think about losing the baby or complications or any of this stuff, and I'm just like, I was so carefree. I guess that's why it really hit me really hard when complications arised in Lennox's pregnancy, and in this pregnancy, after 7 years of not having an actual baby and going through miscarriage and loss, I've become a lot more aware of how precious pregnancy really is. And it's insane, all of the things that you got to think about, and all the things that can go wrong, all the things that can go right, and it's just really overwhelming sometimes. And I just, like, I used to say in my head, like, you know, toughen up, you're pregnant, you're not sick or something, but this pregnancy, holy heck, I just feel like such a delicate flower. And it's quite funny because I don't like being fussed over or babied or whatever like that. So when something happens and I'm telling my friends or my family or something, and their reactions are like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Or like them continuously checking in, even though it's lovely and it's nice, it's just like, it's so overwhelming for me anyway. And this time around I have a really supportive partner. Jay he knows I don't want to be wrapped in cotton wool, so he's trying his best not to, but he has given me a couple of growlings being like, don't lift that, don't do this, don't do that. He's just so caring and protective over me and the baby, which is actually just really nice to have a guy be so into your pregnancy. It's a change and it's nice. And for me, I'm working this time. I wasn't working with Alexis or Lennox's pregnancy. However, in Lennox's pregnancy, I was in hospital pretty much the whole time, and then had a little baby the other time that I wasn't in hospital. So although I'd still pick that over working, it's just hard to, like, when you've got a job, you've got a job, and it doesn't matter if you're pregnant or you're this or you're that, you've got responsibilities, and the pressure is, I find, quite hard. The pressure I put on myself, a lot of it is me putting pressure on myself to do my best and to show up no matter what. But yeah, working and being pregnant is freaking hard, and I'm so glad that I get to work from home. Yes, I do work really late. Most of you guys are in bed by that time, but I'm still working along and concentrating, anxious that something's gonna go wrong at work. Just the nature of my job is that I'm literally monitoring, and when something happens, it's up to me to contact the right people at the right time and the right procedure as such. So it's quite a lot of brain power, I guess you could say. And yeah, just going over the fear of losing my baby is just horrible. At the start, it took me and Jay so long to sink in that we're having a baby, because we were just, especially me, I was just waiting for something to go wrong. I was just like so excited but too scared to be excited. And then I'd have like waves of excitement and being like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, and then it would shortly after be followed with a wave of fear. Obviously I think that's very normal for someone who has lost pregnancies, and yeah, it literally didn't sink in for me and Jay until like probably the 16-week scan, where we saw baby and how active and happy it was. And it was still, I still had so much fear installed in me, being like, oh my gosh, I've now like felt like I've kind of met my baby, I've seen my baby, it's adorable, holy heck, I really don't want to lose this, you know. I still have that. I'm a lot better. I'm 22 weeks at the moment and I am a lot better, but I'm creeping up to the stage where major complications happened in Lennox's pregnancy, and last week was a really bad mental week for me. I just wanted to be alone and want to talk to anyone. I was just not myself. I felt numb, but then I also felt a million emotions at the same time, and I was just trying to focus on work, and also had the children home for school holidays, which is, I love my kids being home, I really do. Like, I hate them being at school. But obviously being busy and always having to tend to people's needs and everything, I was just so like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I can't talk to people, can't update people on what was happening at my appointments, or because I had a lot of nurses at the hospital appointments, one saying one thing and then another saying another thing, and it just fogged my mind to, should I be scared, should I be worried? And I couldn't even tune into my intuition and just be like, how do I feel? My mind was just so fogged that I couldn't even just listen to myself. So I just had to shut everyone out for a few days, focus on work and get through. Feeling a lot better now. I really don't know what that was all about. All I can think is that it's getting pretty close to the time that I had complications of Lennox's pregnancy, and that was the most amazing yet hard thing I've ever been through. Like, I'm glad I've been through it, because it's made me the person I am today, and I've got my little boy. But holy crap, like, I swear it's one of the hardest things you could go through, is watching your baby fight for their life, being so tiny and new and early, and then all the complications leading up to that. I remember my best friend was in hospital at the same time for an operation, and I was upstairs in the maternity ward, and they had pretty much just broken the news to me that if I were to go into labour, because I had all this bleeding and whatnot, that they weren't going to give me the drugs because I was too early. And I just remember feeling rage and being like, what? Like, I know what you're saying, but I'm 23 weeks. Are you kidding me? And when they left the room, I was in like this isolated room. I actually locked the door. I locked them out, obviously. Well, actually, I don't know. They could have had a key. I don't know. But I just locked the room. I didn't want anyone to come in. I had a few people knocking on the door. I don't know who it was. Maybe they were just seeing if it was unlocked or not. I don't know. But I was just so angry and upset and confused and ridden with fear that I was just like, I can't do this. And I got my best friend to come up to the room, and I was like using the equipment. I shouldn't have been, obviously, but using the equipment to like scan my belly and listen to the heartbeat, and that stuff is so naughty, but I was a little bit of a rebel back then. But yeah, I'll forever cherish those moments of my best friend being sick, being in hospital, and being there with me. And looking back now, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm such a clown. But I just remember my headspace and the fear, and a part of that came back last week. and I think that's why I wasn't coping very well. And then throughout the weekend, I can't even remember what day it was, Saturday, I hadn't felt Ninja move all night. Generally, I say he, but we don't know. Generally, he keeps me up all night because he's such an active little bub. But I hadn't been woken all night. I was awake all night because I was anxious and just couldn't sleep. And then come 9 o'clock the next morning, I'd had a shower, I had a hot drink, and I still hadn't felt movements, and it just hit me, and I just bawled my eyes out. I was like, this is why I've been feeling off. I've lost my baby. What the heck? What am I going to do? And I started preparing in my head, telling my best friend that I wasn't going to be attending her son's 5th birthday party. I knew Jay was asleep, so I didn't want to call him or panic him, and I was so close to calling my midwife, being like, can you meet up with me? I need to be checked or whatever. And then sure enough, little Ninja started kicking away. So I think that's when it kicked in, where I was like, okay, I just need to just have a bit of reality check and just stop, breathe. Everything is okay. Everything is okay, and it's okay to be fearful. I mean, I couldn't help it even if I tried, but so take a step back and be like, it's okay, everything is good. And yeah, so I've got a friend who's pregnant, and she's had to go for another scan because the placenta's over the cervix. I can't remember the medical term for that. But then I've also got a family member who's pregnant, and she couldn't feel the baby moving, so she had to go get checked. And then there's someone else I know who's pregnant who's got bleeding going on, and then one of my other friends had a bleed out, and everything's okay. Like, pregnancy is rough, man, it really is. And being pregnant and trying to support a friend for a miscarriage is freaking hard. Like, you feel so guilty for the fact that you're still pregnant and everything. And even though I know my friend is extremely happy for me, it's just, there's no words, and you can't really help. There's no one particular way to help people because everyone's different, and it comes in waves, emotion and whatnot. And my heart just goes out to all those people that you know, have to go through that, because it's rough. Morning sickness is another one. Holy heck, even if it's just the average morning sickness, is rough. HG, even though I only had it for a very short period of time, holy heck, what is that? Like, it just riddles you. Like, I was so paralyzed. I was so sick. I'm so glad it didn't last that long for me. My best friend had it through most of her pregnancy, and she was at hospital, had a feeding tube and everything. Like, the stuff us women go through is crazy. The thing that I've been struggling with this pregnancy is how many internal scans I've had to have. So I've had to have things shoved up inside me, what feels like every 5 minutes, to check my cervix, which is good. It's nice to know that the cervix has been well behaved. But when I've been having these complications like cramps and plug come out and whatnot, it is scary, and it's so invasive. Like, I actually have a scan tomorrow and then another scan in 2 weeks, both internal scans, and it's just so invasive. And it's so, to me, it's triggering, because the last time I went into labor with Lennox and I threw a tantrum and left the hospital, it's another story for another day, is that they did an internal scan and it put me in labor again. So I get quite triggered when they say they're going to do an internal scan. But but yeah, pregnancy, it's freaking rough. And even though it comes with all of these glorious moments and whatnot, yeah, it's something else. And I just wanted to get that off my chest and talk about it. and I'm sure a lot of women can relate. Even when your pregnancy is going well, there's just so much you go through, and it's so cool. I love being pregnant, I really do. I feel so happy and so blessed, and it's just crazy. This is now my like third pregnancy, long pregnancy, where Alexis, Lennox, and now Ninja, they're all so different, and I feel like each baby already has such a different personality, and I'm so excited to meet Ninja. Like, holy heck, Ninja kicks like crazy when Jay talks, and it just makes my heart flutter. I'm just like, the baby loves dad, like it knows who dad is, and it's so cool. And it's amazing to have a partner who is so excited at the same time as you, and there's just no negative, there's no bullshit. Like, if I'm stressed or struggling, he helps me. He's not like a burden, he's not someone that causes stress, he's someone that relieves stress, and it is just amazing. And he loves watching my belly grow and it's just really cool. But anyway, I'm going to now record another pregnancy video, an update. But thank you so much for watching this video. Obviously like and subscribe if you like this kind of content, and I'll see you next time.